Al-Moreb is ready. Set and ready. Gates crash open, and they're racing away. Valiant Prince from a deep draw commits straight away. One of the early leaders, Shanty Star, ridden at. Aquaman also gets up handy. Then comes Al-Moreb in the black cap, stuck out deep. They approach, and the gold body and the white cap races not too far from the leader. Then comes Motawaj in the yellow jacket and the black cap, followed a length by Mokarab. Then towards the outside, we find the likes of McManaman, who's also not had too much luck in running from a deep draw. Malikati's next best with My Swallow. Karaginski, Magical Land in the second half of the field. The blue and gold colours. Mokarab was further back with Al Salt. Then comes Mana here, and they've taken the first turn. They went through the 1,000 metres area. Leader is Aquaman, narrowly. Valiant Prince almost got across to the rail, one off in the all blue colours, and Valiant Prince is just forced to work to get onto the front foot. Malikati's racing alongside Day Approach. Shanty Star in the orange silks, and then comes Ursa Minor in the white sleeves and cap. Karaginski, My Swallow, Country and Al-Moreb all race together. They all midfield. Magical Land is on heels. Then comes Al Salt further back and running to McManaman. Mana here. Then comes Mokarab and finally Motawaj. And now they straighten up. Valiant Prince is the one in front and has the lead by 2 lengths. Aquaman races away in second. Then comes Day Approach. Al Salt is out of the pack, and then further back and running we find Ursa Minor, but Valiant Prince got first run. Al Salt trying to do the chasing. Mana here is third. Valiant Prince, how much left in the tank? He's still a length and a half in front as Valiant Prince, and Valiant Prince did it. Second goes to Al Salt. Then came Mana here, Magical Land fourth. Ursa Minor, My Swallow. Then came Day Approach. They were ahead of Al-Moreb, Malikati's, McManaman, Aquaman faded out of it, Country, Shanty Star. They're ahead of Mokarab, Motawaj and Karaginski.
Well, all too predictable results, but Valiant Prince has proven to be very well handicapped here in beating Al Salt, who's run a cracker in second, Mana here third. The eventual winning margin was down to about a length in the end, Mikey, but the way he travelled up with the pace, having got over from a wide draw in stall 15, suggests he had quite a bit in hand there, I think.
Yeah, he was the best horse in this race. Also ran a huge race.
Yep.
Expected him to run much better than his market support. And Mana here was kind of the surprise there. Really did not expect him to run that well, but was on his day. Mikhail gave him a great ride.
Yeah, Mana here picking up some pieces to finish third. He looked a class apart in the parade in terms of strength and, you know, big imposing sort. He's had to do it the hard way to some degree. Al Salt briefly threatened to run him down, but he did have quite a bit in hand in the end, didn't he?
Never in doubt, was it, really? I didn't think. I was kind of willing Al Salt to get up just for a bit of fun, but yeah, he just looked very, very good. It fulfilled the promise of that, obviously, 9-length demolition job last time. And he's one that they can now look for slightly more exciting targets with. As I said, I don't feel that was an uncompetitive race. I think he's got beaten some nice local horses in there. But, yeah, he was just far too good for these. He belongs in better company, and that's where he'll go now. Great run from Magical Land, finishing fourth after being cast adrift at one point.
For him at the start.
Yeah, very much. He lost 2 or 3 lengths sort of after the start. He kind of got shuffled back, managed to finish fourth. Behind Mana here, who's very fragile but also very useful. He's finished third. And followed Al Salt another second in a row, as we said. Very good local debut as well from My Swallow. They really weren't sure what to expect from that one. He's run 6th. They'll be very happy with that.
Yeah, and Ursa Minor's another one that's shown more switching to the turf for the first time. But, yeah, I think William Buick, he rode him like a good horse. From stall 15, could have taken his medicine, I suppose, and try and drop him in. He probably strikes as the sort of horse that might have been a bit keen as well, had he tried to get that cover.
Yeah, and he just tried to stay out of his way. He had enough pace to him naturally to make his way to the front from the 15, and from there he just tried to ride him with as much confidence as possible without using too much around the bend.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a close-up on William Buick and that he didn't really have to go for the whip too many times. Just he gives him a smack to keep him going, switch his hands and just basically keeping up to his work. As I said, at one point it looked as though Al Salt would make more of a fist of it, and to be fair to him, he's got to within 3/4 of a length in the end, which not too bad a defeat, but the ears pricked for the winner. You can see coming back to the winner's enclosure, it looks as though he's taken quite a bit of pulling up. The rest are well off the track, and he's still coming back, so he's He's obviously enjoyed a good gallop out as well.
Yeah, he's very pleased with himself.
Yeah. He certainly is, isn't he? He's out of, do you remember Chachimedi for Sir Henry Cecil?
She won winner. She won the matron stakes. She was a lovely filly, and her name, Chachimedi, meant something really weird, like lightning in Thai, wasn't it? Something like that. Which makes me think they could have given this horse a bit more of a fun name, but Valiant Prince is a very nice racehorse name, isn't it? So it's the name of a good horse. Good horses have good names.
They do, don't they? They're not called, like, mashed potato or something like that.
We had one here called Clippity Clop once, and I've always remembered that. Jamie Osborne trained him in the UK, and he ended up at Jebel Ali. Running at Jebel Ali, and I thought it was the worst name ever, and he was pretty average.
Yeah, nothing average though about Valiant Prince, who's made it 2 wins from 5 starts now. He's finished second a couple of other occasions as well, and does look the type to progress quite markedly. As a 4-year-old, was gelded prior to his victory at Chelmsford last time, which was merely an exercise canter, as we say, but you'd imagine he's going to continue strengthening up, and only now belatedly making it back into the winners' enclosure with everything else already unsaddled and ready to go. But it doesn't look as though he's had a race, really, does he?
Yeah, he looks good. He's very much within himself right now. I do think that I'm interested to see what his optimal trip is going to be. He's still a developing type.
I think he'd want much further than this. I think Chachimedi was quite a free-going mare. She tended to wear the hood, I think, I'm right in saying. As Laura said, she won the matron over a mile, so I don't think he's crying out for much further, is he?
Yeah, should be, but he's definitely one to look forward to. That hopefully they keep in the yard and don't put through the sale quite yet. It would be interesting to see what Charlie can do with him.
I'd say he's earned his spot in the yard for another few months at least. He's doing this off 60.5 kilos as well, and the crowd clearly included him in his Pig 6, the second fairly warm favourite on the bounce to have obliged, and I'm sure the odds of Echo Point winning the last have also contracted since that victory. Indeed they have. He's around about 6-5 now to follow up for Buick and Appleby. Stall 16 he will have to overcome, one worse than this horse, but well, he's obviously going to go down as probably the star attraction on tonight's card, but we shouldn't take away from a couple of the others that finished in behind. Aquaman tried to go with him early, but probably just needed the run, coupled with the fact he may have gone off a bit too hard as well. I think
William was able to ride such a confident race. Like, he just knew that he was on the best horse, and he just kept it simple, didn't he? Aquaman, I mean, just ran as if fitness was something that was perhaps a little bit lacking with him. As Doug said, he hasn't been here all that long, so a fairly ready enough excuse for him. But I said before the race that Charlie obviously bemoaning the draw for him, but best horse, jockey, world-class jockey, turf course that's really wide even with the rail out. Don't really need to worry about it, do you?
No, I've stopped looking at the draw on turf over a mile, 7 furlongs. Such a long run, that first bend as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do think we make too much of it on occasion, but this horse just a class apart.
It certainly is. We go through the race again, and Magical Land was one that was slowly away, Mike. You can see he's around about 4th or 5th last at the moment, just a bit too keen. Al Salt in a similar position, as indeed is his manner here. So the 2nd, 3rd and 4th have all made ground from further back. Anything that we can decipher from the run in here? This is where Valiant Prince kicks for home. Anything that you notice? A bit short of room, maybe Magical Land just there?
Yeah, just right there, but he just wasn't going to make up that much ground on these horses in the end. A bit of a disappointing run from Aquaman. I don't think they wanted to wind up on the front end with him, but he kind of just had to take what was given to him.
Yeah, and he's not been hard knocked about since headed by Valiant Prince.
The runner-up didn't really save a lot of ground. Probably that worked against him a bit.
Yeah.
And he didn't change leads in the final bit there. He probably needed to do that in order to make up that ground on the winner. But yeah, it was the best horse won. A lot of these horses just, going to move up or down the handicaps accordingly.
Yeah, there's I suppose when you look further down the field, there's not a massive amount of depth to this really in the finishing results. When you've got the likes of Al Marab, and they've been running well, but they are older horses who just don't have the potential of this horse. Mokarab, another one, he was never really sighted, and it's an all too familiar outcome to the race really. Valiant Prince was certainly impressive in coming 3/4 of a length clear in the end. I think Karajinsky was one that nearly tailed off. I didn't know McManaman. I sort of half fancied he'd run a race, but he just didn't seem to be able to land a blow either, did he?
He's been a bit on a decline since the beginning of the season. He came in nice and fresh and just hasn't been able to hold form since.
Does that happen when he's kind of mixing and matching surfaces, dirt to turf?
Well, it just seems like with him, it just seems like not a sign of panic, but I would say a sign of just trying to figure out where they can get his attitude right and where he can build a little confidence in his performance. And it's not working with him. He just doesn't seem to be as consistent as he was before.
No, he certainly doesn't. The timing's certainly quite quick, 1:35.46, comparing to Magic